relax your mind and let your conscience be free. You're now rolling with the sounds of the RAC.
As the low hat taps to the snare, kick, treble, I maintain to excel over MCs on higher levels. Higher level, higher level, higher.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Early Red. You are now officially tuned in to Red TV, the Red Zone. Got some guests, some family.
What's really good? What's really good?
I'm gonna let y'all introduce yourself since I already know who you are.
I'll go by the name of Caps from Brooklyn, New York, hip hop artist,
BK.
co-host of the Sucker Free podcast, co-host of the Caps and Flacco YouTube channel, which we'll get into. And I'm here with
Mimi, Milmatic, the dawn of 85, the realest year to be alive, the Capricorn unicorn, Tiger Whisperer, the list goes on and on. If there's a really depressing book you want to buy, it's on Amazon. It's called Not Average Rebels. I'm from the LES, and I co-host the podcast.
Absolutely.
With Mr. Caps here.
That's correct.
Nice.
That's correct.
Got a lot going on, Mr. Caps.
We have a lot going on, trust me, a whole lot.
That's dope. So I know Caps, from doing music, doing hip hop, doing shows. Like I said, that's like family. But I brought him back here again today because he's doing something new with the podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
So I want to talk about that a little bit because
Absolutely.
we're transition. I'm not gonna say we're gonna transition because you're still doing music, but we kind of transition a little bit from that, into this. So
Right.
Explain to people. I want to know why.
Okay.
Let's start with why.
So, this young lady, Mimsy, me, Milmatic, the dawn of 85, the realest year to be alive. the
Mimi's
unicorn.
fun.
You got a big title.
We got like so many aliases, it's not even funny. Basically, I was in a period where the person who's producing my project is out in Arizona. He was constructing his own studio, so I had some time to kill in between. Okay. So while that happened, Mimi approached me about doing a podcast, like being a part of a podcast. Okay. So I didn't think that at first that I would be as involved as heavily as it was, but it was basically, nah, I'm tagging you in. We need to get this ball rolling. I need you involved. So we sat down, we mapped out what we wanted to do. I included a gentleman of mine, a very good friend of mine named Jamal Payne. He does that programming for MLB Network.
All the MLB podcasts.
So he produces all of them, engineers all of them, puts them out, and like he told us not that any of them are any good. Okay. And he sat down with us, he gave us the 411. Luckily nowadays, the way technology is, you have the ability to do it yourself. So he walked us through. He told us that our opinion is just as good as valid as anybody else's opinion, and you should be heard out there. Nice. So we got together with two other folks. We started the podcast with 4 people, but they have weeded out. So now it's just me and Memes. Okay. And we just do a sports, life, and debauchery.
And that happens, because I was doing a lot.
It has to happen. It's like a blessing. It is.
Talk about
what it is? No, I'm gonna tell you what it is. Cause you made it sound real easy.
I'll be like, Callie, where's my horn?
But you're an artist, so you get people always say like, oh, it's easy. It doesn't matter if you do graffiti or if you rap or if you paint or if you write or if you do a podcast. People look at it and they're like, that's so easy. Like I could get up there and do that. But the research and like the conversations and the work that you have to put into anything to make a good product, you have to be like in a business mindset. And I think sometimes for some people, right, it's just like a different mindset. And you can't have...
They're trying to shine, do what they gotta do.
Or just like it's easy to show up and do, just talk on a mic. It's easy to do that.
But the work you're putting on all week.
But all the work behind that, right? Like everything it takes even to do an interview, like to make something work. A lot of people I don't think are willing to do that. And sometimes they find out later. So that's why I say it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The earlier that happens, the better.
Of course.
Yeah, success cannot be at your leisure. You have to work at that success. And you know that more than anybody.
Ups and downs, right?
It is what it is.
It is true. Oh, absolutely. So we got 3,900 downloads
so
as of
now. Sucker Free.
Sucker Free.
SUCKA.
Sucker Free.
It got a train on
podcast.
It's
not
cool.
ER.
No, not ER. No. That's different.
If you see that 7-line train, that's us.
That's us. So
that was a dope pick too.
It was cool. Shout out to my brother Karan for doing the graphics for that. But it's a sports, life, and debauchery. I kind of thought, like, when we started it, you don't pigeonhole yourself to one thing because you're trying to grab as many listeners as you can get. It's kind of like when you make music.
Yeah.
You try to
Exactly.
have variety
Be as
with what you're
versatile
doing.
as possible.
As versatile as possible. So, you know, we go out there. Mimi has a segment where she asks us questions that you're never going to get the right answer. We try out an obscure beer. We have a bitch of the week at the end of the week. So it could be, like I said, since it's sports, life, and debauchery.
What does that entail?
So that's how it started. Hold on. So I would be watching sports, and I love podcasts. Like, I know it's a new, like, format for a lot of people.
Take notes out there, y'all, if you're trying to
But
Absolutely.
podcasts, like, if you're driving, you're on the train, like, they have everything. Finance, I like murder. I know I don't do the murder podcast, but I'm all about the murder.
How do you get away with it, though?
No, but like if you listen to that kind of thing, then you understand like the ones that are successful have a format. So I remember sitting on my couch and I just remember like some baseball player pissed me off. And I was like, he's a bitch. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, I
Say
came
that
up with
about a lot
this
of
thing called Don't Be a Bitch. And then I started thinking about like a podcast, and I was like, it should be called Don't Be a Bitch. Because the thing is, the podcast, you have the freedom to curse, to talk about whatever you want.
Oh, absolutely.
So there's no like limitation, like I'm gonna offend, I mean, you'll offend people if they listen and they don't like it, but it's not like censored, right? Because it's like new territory. And so I called Nick up, I'm like, yo, we should do a podcast. So it started out sports. But then I think by the time we met Jamal, and by the time, because I would say it was like a year that we spent from like the idea into buying equipment.
And to knowing exactly what we were gonna, when we got on the microphone, what we were gonna put together.
So we had a format already, and it has changed a little bit.
Yeah.
But we had a format in the beginning of like, these are gonna be like the breaks in the podcast. And I think that helped. Because I think had we just went out there, Don't Be a Bitch would have been the worst podcast ever.
Don't name your podcast.
Nah,
Yeah,
don't
no.
name your podcast that.
So, yeah, that didn't work out.
But to some of y'all men out there, stop being a bitch.
Yeah, well, word up, for real.
Yes.
But it's not even
And
just,
that
it's not
could be
even-
anybody.
And I'm just saying that just because you mentioned a baseball player, just because I feel like in certain sports, not only baseball, football, basketball, you know I'm an athlete at the end of the day.
Sure.
And stop being a bitch.
Yeah.
Soft, right? It's soft.
That's soft.
Listen, we've
No.
nominated.
That's why you're going
And
to be
that's
on the
gonna come with the
podcast.
music and everything else that I'm going to discuss later. But
So that
let's
turned
continue.
into Bitch of the Week. So now every
Listen.
podcast, each person gets the voice. It don't matter. He has somebody that buttered his toast the wrong.
Did not butter
didn't-
my toast.
Didn't butter
On a
his
long,
toast.
vigorous morning.
So it could be anybody.
It could
you
be
know,
anybody,
and you just
so, you
like
know.
kind of everybody kind of has those issues. So it ends up,
Poppy in
I
the
think.
bodega was the bitch.
Poppy in the bodega
Yo.
and put that mayo on my.
Yo.
Poppy, you messing up.
Oil and vinegar? No?
Yeah, no one.
We had a couple MTA riders on there.
Yeah.
know.
It's been
It's
good.
cool.
We've had some congressmen nominated. We've
yeah.
had the whole country nominated.
Oh yeah,
And like
somebody.
broken
I
down
saw you
systematically.
a little political thing for a minute.
Well, listen,
like,
you know, you gotta.
I saw that.
We
dig
get
where you gotta
political
dig, you know what
sometimes
I'm
for
saying?
sure.
But you know, it's been good. It's been a good ride. It's been
Cap's
good,
very
creative,
political.
very different who he is. Don't tell nobody.
Hip hop and politics.
Well, listen, you know, it's part of life.
Let
It's
me
a-
not get there.
Exactly.
What I'm doing.
Pac was my favorite MC, so you know, that's how those things happen. Yours too. I think that's why we get
The
along.
best.
Yep.
Yeah, we have this debate all the time.
While we're on it,
Yes.
let's go. Hit me again. Tell the people. What's your 5?
5 greatest or 5 favorite? That's different.
Just 5. Just give me 5.
MCs.
I mean, it's like 20, but just give me 5.
Well, Pac is my favorite, so he's got to be in
Like,
there.
teach these kids and, you know, everybody coming out
Listen,
with this music right
okay.
now.
Listen, there's 2 fucking sides to the coin, man. Like, it's cool to have fun and ball, and what, but let's touch all the spots we can get to. So my 5 would probably be Tupac Shakur, of course, my favorite of all time. Nas, Cool G Rap, Slick Rick, Common. Those would be my 5. Honorable mention would be Mos Def. You know what I'm saying? Brooklyn all day. And that's not to say that there's not a bunch of other legends like Jay-Z's or the Biggies
Fuck
or
Jay-Z.
the AZs. You know, like this. She had to.
Queens in the building.
You know, like this, or Wu-Tang, or you know, like, or you got the guys like Redman, Royce the 5'9", you know, hieroglyphics from the West Coast. And, you know, there's so many you could pull from, you know. But I think, like, to me, like, those guys were like the 5 that like kind of molded like the way I make music.
And do you speak about music a lot on your podcast?
Oh yeah, we
play
we play
music,
music.
too.
We play a lot of. We try to keep it like mid '90s flavor or anything that kind of sounds mid '90s.
Or even not, but we've
or
even
anything that's
went
mid '90s
like
flavor.
60s, like 70s, yeah.
So it's like
because I like
Jamming out.
disco. If you listen to
I
the
was gonna
podcast,
ask-
I really like
That was
disco.
gonna be my next question. You know, what type of music are you involved or like, or you know?
I like everything. I mean, really everything. But I feel like my music taste is like more eclectic and weird. I don't presume to know what I'm talking about. I just like what I like.
Yeah, I got
Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like with music, people are very, well, it's like art, right? So
It's how it makes you feel. I feel
It's-
too, you know.
That's
yeah,
absolutely.
but it's
That's like the
subjective.
biggest-
Like however you feel, right, is how you feel. But like me, like
Like
we
if you're
brought it
pissed
up.
off, I'm gonna be bumping. Some,
Yeah, I'm gonna bump some
Yeah.
DMX. You know what I'm saying? Or some MOP.
I'm
About
like,
to,
what you bitches? Huh?
Yeah. But we brought it up the other day, right? Because I had mentioned we did this, that trio, like who would be in your band. And like for me, my favorites are like Nina Simone, Etta James, and who else? Well, I put the Cranberries in there.
So I asked the
I know,
question:
right?
if you could make a super group,
Who would you put together?
who would you put together? Three. You got to pick three. So it could be 3 singers. It could be a band and a MC. It could be anybody.
So I put Nina and Etta, and then I threw in the Cranberries. They were like, what?
That's interesting.
I was like,
But you
yeah.
know,
But you
it-
never know. That could
it
turn
could-
out to
I
be
mean,
dope.
those
But the
vocals-
thing is, while we were on the podcast, we were thinking like how we know jazz, right? Like, and it's so crazy how like a lot of this generation, not everybody,
Shout out
but
to
a
Robert
lot of them
Glasgow.
are so like detached from that. Like I remember being at work and I was saying, my friend, he's my age, I'm over 30, but
Now me, I'm 27
and I had mentioned
years
Nina
old.
Simone. And he's like, who's Nina Simone? And I was like, you're black and you don't know Nina Simone? Like, I was so mad about it. But you know, the truth is, it's just like that music's kind of lost. So if we could bring it to light,
course.
all the old jams, you know, that people kind of don't get to hear.
Yeah, but like if you like so like the guys that I mentioned, like all those guys listen to that. You know what I'm saying? Like they all listen to that kind of stuff. So it's like,
But my boo right now is Kendrick.
Okay.
but
I
it's
love
like
him more than anything.
you know, like those people reflect the music that they listen to.
Right.
So like a Tupac Shakur, he listens to he listens to the Stevies, he listens to the Marvins, he listens
Al
to the
Greens
Al
and-
Greens,
yeah,
he
that's what
listens to
I'm
the he listens to those guys that were talking not just about the
That's
glorious,
what,
the
that's
beautiful
when I feel
things.
like music was music. Like music to me is instrument, and you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
oh,
That's-
absolutely.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
All this, you
Of
know,
course,
other
of
shit
course.
people do now.
Wow.
Auto tune and
That
coming
was what.
out, coming out with the best new dance. Like that seems to be the
Yeah.
challenge right now.
Oh Lord! Don't even get me started with them dance challenges.
That was what I said
I
was
don't like
weird
Drake
about.
like that, so I won't give him that much time.
Aubrey, Mr. Aubrey.
Was it Travis Scott's album? Because I don't like that auto-tune like voice either. But I like, for some reason, that album has like a
I feel
nice
like,
vibe.
You know, when T-Pain did his thing, and I'll be one of those.
But I feel like he was the first, right?
But
Like,
that's what I mean.
T-Pain
Like
was,
after that, like,
and I think his album was like 5 tracks. I remember because he was in Melbourne, was like where he was from, where I went to college in Florida.
I just feel like, you know, when you do certain things, make it fit your personality. Like T-Pain,
Sure.
I feel like, you know, the way he, you know, moved around and did things that fit his personality.
Well, I
Like,
will
some
say-
people feel like, oh, let me just hit this because, you know, I sound like shit, but, you know.
I'll be part of the wave.
Exactly.
Like, don't be a part of the wave. Make your own wave, man. I'm telling you, it's so crazy. I was just thinking about it.
Get your masculinity.
We
You
were
can't
talking
tell them
about-
apart no more, though. That's yeah.
We were talking about on Caps and Flacco on YouTube album review channels. Check it out. We were talking about Wu-Tang, and we had, you know, one of our segments on the YouTube channel is talking about the reminisce aspect of, like, you know, certain albums that impact, that stood the test of time. So it was about 3 weeks ago, the Purple Tape had its 26th year anniversary. 26 years ago, right?
Woo.
I could put that, I listened to that album at least once
I
every
saw
2
it.
months.
Everybody was posting the purple.
Yeah, I
tape.
feel
Right?
like I
So-
would, yeah.
So
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were. Everybody
They
was.
were.
But just think about that 26 years ago. That album, that body of work is still such a groundbreaking thing. Even when you hear it today, you see, like, you know, the passion, the skill, the penmanship, the beat selection, the way it was constructed as an album. You know, we're getting into an era where it's like, they're not even thinking about,
No message?
well, no message. They're not even thinking about, you know, your body of work as you as what you're giving to the world.
Yep.
Yeah, but
It's all gotten into.
they're not received the same way either.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
absolutely.
that Kendrick album that I love,
To Pimp a Butterfly.
yeah, like the general consumer, they wanted that like Bompton fucking Kendrick. They really weren't listening, and that album had every kind of music,
That's the thing.
every kind of black music. Like that was a tribute almost. It's
kinda
that
like the
album was
Aquanamai album.
beautiful, and people didn't receive it like they didn't want to hear it. So
So it's just I think that we're in an era where everything is so accessible, and everybody's so worried about. Look, you could come out there and have a hit single, and then like 2 weeks later you're back in the studio trying to make another one. Instead of letting that marinate and
yeah.
build, you know, there's no slow build anymore. Everything is right now. Which, you know, it's
How can I pop off in 2 seconds? And
yeah. How can I
become
make this money? You
major
know,
star?
like
Let me
it's-
tell you right now, it ain't happening. Put my stamp on
That's
that
it.
shit.
Red ain't playing games today.
But if you need help, you can.
Hey, listen. I like Early Red, trust me. Early Red
Artist
promo.
management.
Absolutely.
But that's dope. I'm really happy that you're doing something else.
Yeah, it's been cool. I mean, I love music. Music's always gonna be my passion. But talking shit is also my passion. You know, so
You
it's
already
been.
know. What'd you say? That's why we get along.
So you know, like that's always been a passion of mine. Everybody has. I remember even when I was like in college age, because I never went to
Have
college.
you guys known each other for a long time?
I've known Mimi for almost 30 years.
Yeah. So the
don't say
relationship-
how old I am.
Almost, you
But-
did though.
but see, I
I'm
feel like
19. I try hard to look 19.
But what I was gonna say is like it's dope to have someone too that you know for a long time, to have that relationship
Sure.
established. Like I feel like that's very important too.
The
you know?
vibe for
The
sure.
vibe.
Chemistry is one thing.
'Cause I
But it
feel
could
like
also
that's
be a
what-
bad thing.
It could be, but I feel like that's why most people lack, a lot of things that they try to do because they don't figure that plan out.
Absolutely.
Beforehand.
Well, this is the thing too. Like, I think chemistry is a big thing. I think the amount of respect you have for the person you're working with. I mean, we had an episode where her bitch of the week was Jalen Rose,
Oh yeah.
and I didn't agree with her point of view. So we are from a.
Talking shit.
Well, we were talking our shit.
That's how we
You know?
talk,
So
and
it's
then
like-
we were opinionated on top of that.
So we're opinionated.
And then I
We-
named
we
it cordial beef.
We from Hispanic background, and in that household, brown people household, it's not sometimes who's the wisest, it's who talks the loudest. So it got a little heat. You know, like, it got a little heated.
Wepa.
Yeah, wepa. You know what I'm saying? Like it got a little heated.
Like, oh, you loud?
That was a battle.
Yeah, so like
I already know who won.
there was people like in the DM and the inbox, and they were like, "Yo, are you guys all right? Are you guys all right?" Like, yo, we were literally laughing like 5 seconds
Yeah,
after
we
the second
was
was
cool.
over.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like I respect her opinion,
But
she
see, that's a
respects
good
mine. You know what I
point,
mean?
too,
Like,
where I'm gonna take it, like people can't do that anymore either. Like they're in your DM and inboxes and all that shit because automatically, if you disagree with somebody, it's a problem and we got beef and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's the type of world that we're in.
but aren't we in an era too where it's like everybody gets a trophy?
Nah.
Everybody
Oh, I
gets a
can't stand the
participation trophy.
participation trophy.
Everybody gets everybody. No, I'm with you. Like,
Yeah.
fuck that,
My
because-
era, you
but
didn't get that
that's not
shit.
real life. That's not, you know,
Exactly.
like that's not real life.
Exactly.
You're not giving anybody
You don't
up.
get rewarded for showing up.
It-
That's
like-
how I feel,
And know your place. If your place ain't there yet, you know what I'm saying? Build and grow and do
Absolutely.
what you gotta do.
The other thing too is I think which I've learned through making music, and especially with the podcast, it kind of like reinforces the fact that everybody is only gonna look at the finished product. They're not gonna, pay so much attention to how it starts. We started with no downloads, period, zero, zilch. And we started the second week in January. We're approaching our 33rd episode. So that means like we're not going anywhere. We see where this can go. We see the growth. We know what kind of audience,
So where
we
you guys
attract.
at now once again? Where-
3,900 downloads.
Plus, yeah.
So it's been that's been the it's been a
Where's the
reinforcement.
podcast based out of?
You could get it. Oh, what do you mean
Like
base?
where? Like,
Oh, New York City, of
okay.
course.
But you guys do it in Manhattan? Or?
Yeah.
Manhattan. Yeah, absolutely. So we're true Yorkers, like to the bone, and we bring that kind of flavor. You know, we also, like the guests we bring up are also people that we know that are on the grind as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, we try to grow our audience with the people that come on.
Okay.
And we try to help grow their
That's
brand
good.
and,
That's good.
you know.
how I feel about support.
You know
Don't
what I mean?
matter. Hot sauce, clothing.
It don't matter. Shout out to Visionary Orendo.
rapping.
Shout out to
Yeah,
K6 fam. You know what I'm saying? Like,
When you're an
Yeah.
artist and you're just a creative thinker, like all that shit comes together.
Of course.
You know, like
Of course.
you could be like she said before, artist, hip hop artist, music, whatever you're doing, like painter, like it doesn't
absolutely.
matter. So it
We
comes
bought
together.
actually our friend Hillary.
Yeah, I heard from
We
Henry Brown.
bought
Shout out
her.
Henry
She
Brown.
was on the podcast, and I bought a piece of art from her, and then she brought us all like this sucker-free art, which
is
was
cool.
dope.
Which
It
is
was
cool.
very dope, you know.
We wasn't
So it's
even
always like
expecting that.
when
Yeah.
that's essentially networking,
Absolutely.
but it's way cooler when you enjoy talking to the people, right? Like
Exactly.
And who the fuck doesn't want to hear us speak?
I don't
It's
know
enjoy-
who would.
It's enjoyable.
I don't know.
It's
Make sure y'all
enjoyable,
tune
man.
in.
I have fun.
Remember, Stitcher, Podbean.
And what they
Google
can
Play.
Oh my
mention on
God,
the podcast.
iTunes,
So we're on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean.
everything.
We're on every.
I think we're like on XFM something.
we're on every outlet you could get the podcast.
Anywhere you could get
it's
your
on
podcast.
a free.
Google, Bing it.
It's
a
free.
download. It's free.
That
With the
5-star.
Google- Sucker Free Podcast.
Yeah, and
You
that
understand?
5-star review is always
5-star review,
helpful.
comment. We're on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
At Sucker Free Podcast.
We all that Gmail.
We're on everything, and we're very active.
Involved. Yeah,
we're very
we're
involved with the
And what
with the
days do you
fans.
do the podcast?
We release Tuesday. We
Every
normally record on
Tuesday
Saturday.
we release, yeah.
Okay.
So the little like inside joke is to say we call it say what you want Saturday when when we're doing the recording.
Okay.
So you know
Nothing's off limits. You
Nothing's-
come, just talk shit. We
just
be,
talk your shit.
the
Promote.
cops come all the time, so they
you know,
don't mind.
Yeah, it's always
You can
like,
let
you
it
know,
go, let it go.
Things can happen at any time, but it's like I said, it's a very authentic, you know, tri-state feel. That was the other thing when we were talking about doing it. We kind of wanted it to be like any normal living room banter.
Yeah, like table talk, couch talk.
Yeah.
You know, like you're with
Yeah,
your boys
yeah,
drinking a
yeah,
beer,
yeah,
or with your girls drinking a beer, whatever, watching a game.
Yeah.
Like that kind of shit that you talk that's real
This-
honest.
he
that's
always strikes out, and then you start. No, he doesn't. Blah, blah, and then it starts. That's been, you know, like that's
the
been
shit you say, you know, in front of your friends.
of course. And you know,
So it feels that way. We try to make it feel that way.
but it is.
You know, like you there.
Yeah. So
I like
it's been
comfortable
dope.
vibes. If I'm
Yeah.
not comfortable, I'm out.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, people have been out before.
Yes, that has
I'm
happened.
leaving.
I'm done.
I'm done.
Spot.
No, dead ass
I
though.
guess it.
I mean, for real.
How am I
Equipment's
mentioning
been
everything that's happening?
thrown.
It gets heated. It's like, bro, you
Yeah.
put it on that equipment, bro.
Sometimes it's too
Like, what's
friendly.
really
Too
going
friendly
on
sometimes.
here? But yeah, it's been like I said, it's like
All
it's kind
worth
of like
it.
making music is a process like anything else, and it's cool to do it with people that you know and you grew up with, and it's been a cool ride, and you know we're here for the long haul, man. We're out to 33 episodes. That's normally the checkoff point where a lot of these podcasts fail.
95% don't
Make it past 33.
make it past
Yeah.
33.
And then 10,000 downloads is when, you know, you can start, you know, planning on
Asking for the guapanese.
fine residuals,
Give
you know,
it
and
to
stuff like that.
us.
So
The guapanese.
We need your downloads.
we're gonna be, you know, that's what it comes down to. So yeah, it's been just like any creative process. You start with your idea, you're confident in your idea. You
Is it
find who
audio
can make it.
podcast
It's an
or
audio
visual?
podcast
Okay.
right now. We're gonna probably do visuals
Yeah.
as we get closer to the 100 mark. That's like the second thing. So we're probably gonna offer one visual and one
like
audio.
incorporate, yeah,
Okay.
the YouTube.
Incorporated with something like that, or some type of visual outlet.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Absolutely, it's gonna be
More hype
stay
already.
tuned to
That
the
kind of
podcast.
sounds just like our podcast. We don't know how to say things. You drink
Now,
too
we
much.
gotta we gotta get early up there. We gotta get my brother Cash Rock in the building. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We gotta get him up in there.
Whatever.
It's been dope. It's been dope, man. I'll be honest. I'm very blessed that I've been surrounded by very creative people, and it's been good energy one way, and you getting the the energy that way. But that's the laws of attraction. That's how it works.
Salute to y'all,
Kind of like
definitely
what I
for
said the
that.
first time when I was
Yeah.
here. You know, that laws of attraction stuff is for real. Trust me. Trust me.
Trust him. Don't buy the book.
No, buy the book. No Average Rebel.
Do that.
Buy it.
Do that.
Buy
I can't.
it.
I can't wait for my $2.
Purchase, read it. Purchase, read it. It's a great book.
Don't buy the $40 one.
Yeah, but it's so wild. Like sometimes you look at folks and, you know, they have an idea, but they don't necessarily want to take the leap off the cliff and put the work in.
That's just the work, yeah.
And sacrifice. And, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like, I don't.
You know I know.
Of course. I mean, personally, like, I don't, my weekends are shot. I'm not out there corralled. I have a podcast to do on Saturday. I have a YouTube channel I shoot on Fridays. When I'm not doing that, I'm writing material down. So when I get in the booth, I can create musically. So it's the things you sacrifice.
Create that balance.
You got to create that balance, and you got to surround yourself with like-minded people that think that way and understand like what it takes.
If not,
I have a 7-year-old. I don't have no damn time.
Shout out Cons, my man Cons.
My baby. So I really don't have the time. And I think, you know, time is precious. Everybody's time is very
it
important.
really is, and you gotta know what you want to do. You know, sit down and
Yeah.
make that plan. You know.
And if you commit, commit.
That's it.
That's it. And be honest and open. That's the most adult shit ever.
That's true. Word.
It's just be open about how you feel. And when you commit, you know, real quick, side
Didn't Hammer
note.
say it's too legit
No,
to
side
quit?
note, side note.
Okay.
So my grandmother, when she was alive, the last time we were in the country, like I noticed there was a little bit of coffee left, and I usually make the whole pot, but I didn't want to drink the whole pot, so I made it a little light. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother comes down, she's like, why the hell is this coffee so light, right? And I'm like explaining it to her. She's like, well, if you're gonna do something, do it right. That's
You're
how I
gonna
feel.
do something, do it right.
Yeah.
We're gonna leave on that note.
Or Grandma Stewart gonna come up in, catch wreck on your spirit.
Exactly.
That's how it's gonna work.
But that's how
man.
adults should act. If you're gonna do
Absolutely.
something, do it right.
But real quick before we get out of here, about to wrap this up.
Okay, one last plug.
There you go.
Sucker Free Podcast. iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Podbean, anywhere it's available. Shout out to Gate 6 fam. Make sure you follow them. And the Yankee fans, Visionary Orenda, Captain Flacco on YouTube. Album
gotta meet this
reviews.
Flacco dude
You know what I'm
soon,
saying?
too.
Oh, he's a PSL subscriber
so
to the Jets,
we'll
but
bring him back.
we'll get him
That's
back up
true.
here, and we'll get to more on that. Also, look up his channel, Herbs All In It. It's a great cooking channel, clean eating. Him, his wife, his 2 beautiful kids. It's a great channel. Make sure you subscribe. Check it out, because that's something that also affects our community that we need to start getting better at, is prolonging our life and you know, expanding our kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So,
And buy my book, Not Average Rebels.
Not Average Rebels on Amazon. Check
Or
it out.
Create Space.
Or Create Space.
I love ya.
That's it.
Thank you guys
Yo,
so much.
thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for
That
having
was
us
so
early.
fun.
Thank y'all.